Why Brighton? The Royal Pavilion was the five-star hospital that a select number of Indian soldiers came to. The authorities decided that this was a building that would remind the soldiers of home. But what home? We're in the music room. It looks like a Maharaja's palace, but the soldiers themselves would never really have come across a building like this. They lived in small communities and small villages. A building like this would have perhaps existed in Jaipur, a long way away from the recruiting grounds of the soldiers. They would have been seriously wounded to have come here, and in many cases would have been induced with morphine, and from living in a world of sepia on the trenches to waking up in Technicolor, it would have been an incredible sensation. In Dr Blighty, I think we've tried to create that through some of the vignettes in which the actors achieved this dreamlike effect.
I'm wondering sometimes if I'm in India.
No, this is Brighton.
Brighton.
Spicy little town by the sea.
Ah.
I promise they'll make you better.
This way, please, everyone. The Indian Army inevitably suffered casualties. Medical facilities were urgently required. Brighton was chosen.
It's just as much a Brighton story as it is an Indian story. You read the Brighton Gazette of the day, people lined the streets and welcomed and thanked these soldiers. The characters of Brighton were welcoming.
Let me tell you.
Mr Tate, a well-known butcher.
It's funny, isn't it?
He got the commission to supply the hospital with meat. So we've dramatised the world which he inhabits.
Of course they were Indians, yes madam, but they were still soldiers. Still young men. And he gave us a little look, what was going on over there.
An enormous amount of effort was taken in catering for the soldiers' religious and cultural needs. Sikhs were provided with a tented gurdwara, and Muslims were given space on the eastern lawns to pray to Mecca. Muslims and Hindus were provided with separate water supplies, and 9 kitchens were set up in the grounds.
I wanted to tell this story in Brighton, in the place in which it happened. I think what was really important for the project was to bring to life the voices, to start reading some of the letters that the Indian soldiers wrote. It's almost like the screams and the cries of the soldiers were trapped for 100 years and we've released them.
On the 12th of May, I was wounded and came into Brighton Hospital. I was struck by bullets in both legs, in the left thigh and the right knee. I'm easier now, but cannot walk yet. Such a war has never been before and never will be again.
So this is the Chhatri. It was the spot where 53 of the soldiers who didn't make it, Hindu and Sikh soldiers, it's a spot where they were cremated. After passing away, the body would have been washed by male colleagues, then been wrapped in white cloth. Sanskrit verses would have been chanted. The body would have then come up through the city and then placed on one of the 3 slabs. Wood would have been placed all around the body, and towards the end of the day, the funeral pyre would have been lit. Their ashes were then gathered after their cremation and taken to the sea and set free. It makes me feel very deeply emotional when I come to this spot. This is a really significant and important monument to our collective histories.